Hey, so this week's about jobs and careers and whatnot, and this is a topic I don't have a lot of experience with. Right now I work at McDonald's. I've worked there for about a month. Don't really like it, don't really think that it'll last very long. Um, it's really my only minimum wage job I've ever had, which is kind of sad. But I made my money babysitting and mowing yards and the typical things like that when I was younger, and I've always been really busy. So, yeah, this is the first time I'm really having a steady paycheck, and, uh, well, I'm stealth on the job. I applied with my male driver's license and my social security card that says Zachary. They didn't do a background check, surprisingly enough. Only one person there knows I'm trans, and we were friends before I started working there. And I would not be comfortable being out as trans here because most of the people I work with, though I like them all, are kind of homophobic. I live in a small town. I grew up in this small town, and it's fine. It's college town, and you can I kind of just avoid people who are really homophobic and sexist, etc. Um, but yeah, I think part of the problem is that most of the people who work there are high school students, and I think that the male high school students who work there are trying to fit in by being homophobic and saying really homophobic, misogynistic things. I think it's just sort of like, I don't know, bandwagoning or something. But I would be afraid to come out. We're actually listening to Born This Way on the McDonald's radio that plays in the back, and the grill guys were like, "Oh, the song's so inappropriate. It says uh, gay, lesbian, transgender." I'm just like, okay. But I also work with some pretty cool people who I would be comfortable telling. It's just really no one's business, so I haven't. But that's not really that interesting because I really hope that this doesn't last too long. So I'll talk about my career, my future career. I am currently at university, and I've had only positive experiences there. I'm a sociology major, women and gender studies, and philosophy and religion minors, which I've talked about before, which are all pretty liberal areas, particularly women and gender studies. And being trans has not been that big of an issue. I transitioned socially my sophomore year of college and physically my junior year, and I'm going into my senior year. And I plan on going to graduate school in sociology next year and getting a PhD in sociology and becoming a professor. Um, my parents are professors, my grandpa is a professor, my uncle's a professor, and my aunt was a professor. So, lots of professors in my family. It's just something that I've always wanted to do, I've always assumed I would do. And academia it is an ivory tower. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. I have not had to deal with a lot of shit that I would outside of academia. Um, I've had it pretty easy because of that. Um, Most of my research and stuff like that has actually um, been influenced by my transgender identity. I taught a class through a student-initiated grant, um, student-initiated course grant, and it was sociology of gender variance. I designed the syllabus and taught the class by myself last semester, and it was a really positive experience. And I was really open throughout the interview process that I was transgender. This totally like fed into my interest in the topic. It made me more knowledgeable, and I think it actually helped me get ahead. I also did a research project on sociolinguistics and gender neutral pronouns, and my experience helped me meet subjects to interview about the project. So I'm pretty sure that being trans has actually helped me in my career already. This next week, I am going to Las Vegas to the American Sociological Association conference for the um, Sociology Honors Program for undergraduates, and I'm going to be presenting research there. I am not out as trans to them, um, to the honors program people. In my personal statement, just didn't bring it up because my paper is on evangelical pop culture, and I just didn't see a connection. I didn't. It's none of their business. I didn't really feel like sharing that. I'm rooming by myself. Um, I present 100% as male. I've had surgery, and all of my stuff says male. So why do I need to tell them? I just don't feel like it. If I were going to the honors program for a year instead of a week, yeah, maybe I would tell them because it's kind of a big part of my life. But for a week, I don't, I don't need to tell them. So, but when I apply to grad school, which is very soon, I'm taking the GRE on Wednesday. Yeah, I'm gonna be out. I'm probably going to talk about being trans in my personal statement. I really don't know yet. I haven't written it. I have the personal statement I wrote for the Honor Society, but we'll see. And well, I probably will be out because I'm planning on studying sociology of sex and gender. So yeah, I'm probably gonna mention it. And so I'm not too worried about how my trans identity will interact with my career. In fact, I think that in many ways it can be beneficial. And so that is just lucky for me. I don't know what I would do otherwise. My plan B, if I don't get into graduate school, is to continue to try to get into graduate school for a long time, just like take a year off, retake the GRE and things like that. Like I don't really have a plan B career wise. If I can't become a professor, I'm going to like I don't know, write children's books or do comics or be a stay-at-home dad. I have no idea what I'll do because this has been my plan forever. So I'm just kind of banking on the fact that I'll do that. I know that, I really idealize academia, and from the time I came out, I was like, oh, well, I'll be fine. Because, you know, sociology is a really liberal discipline, and it'll be alright. But, I mean, I am a little concerned about getting discriminated against in the process of applying to grad school, but I also know that a lot of universities, I can see it being uh, something that helps me get into school. I don't know. But the thing is about sociology and psychology is a lot of people write their dissertations on something that is related to them or of special interest to them. My mom is a psychology professor, and she wrote her dissertation on fathers and infants, and she happened to have an infant at the time she was writing her dissertation, me, and I had a father who was really involved with me. So, yeah. And then I was actually just interviewed for someone's dissertation, and about, and she was writing her dissertation on partners of trans men. So, like, people kind of, I don't know, kind of gives me an edge in my research, I think. Anyway, so I guess kind of really quick back to jobs. One thing that I noticed working at McDonald's are all these gender stereotypes. That's so weird because, I've done a lot of internships and things like that. I actually taught kindergarten as well in South Africa as an internship. And I did that before I transitioned, and I was treated like a lady, even though I was a butch lesbian at the time. They called me Miss, and I didn't have to do any physical labor. And so I kind of saw gender stereotypes there, But like, oh my god, McDonald's. Like, oh my god. I got there and they put me on fries because I'm a dude, and that's what dudes do. I've been called bud, partner, bro. They talk like all the time. There's this like really huge divide between the women who work there and the men who work there, and like I'm always asked to carry heavy things even though I'm not buff, and everyone knows it. When you send me to get ice, I will bring back one bucket because I can't lift two. But they don't send the women who can lift two buckets because I'm a dude. It's really bizarre for me. I mean, I knew, I've obviously witnessed sexism and things like that. I'm not like completely blind to those things. I mean, I'm a women in gender studies minor. Like, feminism is not new to me. Sexism is not new to me. Misogyny is not new to me. But it's really weird seeing it in a work environment where people are supposed to be, on their best behavior. So, anyway, I kind of digressed. But, yeah, so I don't really know what advice to give because I have a kind of unique situation and I don't really know what I'm doing. But anyway, um, jobs can be tough, but I think that the best thing to do is just to try to find a supportive environment. I know that if you research companies online, a lot of times they'll say specifically that they don't discriminate based on gender identity if they don't. So it's a good thing to look for. That's my only advice. Sorry.